Hi everyone, we're Pablo and Anna from Happy Boots. Today we're visiting the Acropolis Museum in Athens. Did you know the building was designed to have an intimate connection with the Acropolis? We'll uncover how its architecture shapes the experience, often without visitors even noticing it. We'll also take a look at the historical treasures it holds. And we promise more than one surprise along the way. So lace up your boots and let's get started. The museum sits in the historic Makrigiani district, just 300 meters southeast of the Parthenon. It stands along the Dionysiou Areopagitou pedestrian walk, which connects the Acropolis with other key archaeological sites in Athens. In the basement, the ruins uncovered during construction are preserved. Remains of an urban area of Athens with Greek, Roman, and Byzantine occupation. On the ground floor, the finds from the slopes of the Acropolis are displayed, with objects linked to everyday life and the cults that surrounded the sacred hill. On the first floor, the visit follows a chronological path from the Archaic period through the Classical era and beyond, with sculptures and fragments from the main monuments of the Acropolis. Within this section, above the first floor, a mezzanine level houses the museum restaurant, designed as a pause within the visit. On the top floor, the Parthenon Gallery presents friezes and sculptures, arranged according to the form and orientation of the original temple. The entire level is subtly rotated, aligning the gallery with the Parthenon itself. Opened in 2009, the project was designed by architect Bernard Schumi. During construction, the museum's structure was adapted to preserve archaeological remains from different periods. They can be explored beneath the museum. The building rises above the site, its structure shaped around the remains, never weighing on them. Inside, the museum follows a chronological spiral path across its different levels. The first gallery begins with a glass ramp, designed to echo the ascent to the Acropolis. Along the way, objects unearthed from the Acropolis slopes appear in the displays. Cases present finds from a small open-air sanctuary, dedicated to Nymph, protector of marriage. Among them are lekithoi for perfumed oils and spindle whorls, small weights used for spinning wool into thread, everyday items once left as offerings at the sanctuary. Glass floors reveal the archaeological area beneath the museum, visible directly underfoot. As you reach the first floor, to the right, you enter the Archaic Acropolis Gallery. It's a tall, light-filled space, home to pieces dating from around 700 to 480 BC. This Sphinx, dating from around 550 before Christ, is the oldest votive sculpture of a mythical creature found on the Acropolis. Traces of mineral pigments have been found on its surface, reminding us that figures like this were once vividly painted. Although today we see natural stone, ancient Greek sculpture and architecture were once richly colored. The chronological route now leads upward to the top floor where the Parthenon Gallery awaits. The gallery takes the form of a large glass hall built around a rectangular core, aligned with the Parthenon and matching its proportions. Glass walls flood the space with natural light and create a direct visual connection to the Acropolis. Before continuing through the gallery, let's take a moment to get familiar with some of the elements you'll see inside. As we mentioned earlier, many parts of the Parthenon were originally painted. The pediment, for example, was fully polychrome, with sculpted figures filling the entire triangular space. There are two, the east and the west pediment. Just below it, the exterior Doric frieze alternates triglyphs and metopes, those square panels that once carried their own carved scenes. And hidden behind the columns runs the Ionic inner frieze, a continuous sculpted band that wrapped around the temple, telling its story from within. Inside the museum, the metopes are displayed between the building's metal columns, spaced at the same distance from one another as the exterior columns of the Parthenon. The Parthenon was the only temple in ancient Greece to feature sculpted reliefs on every single metope. These elements are arranged to reflect their original placement, while bringing pieces like the pediment sculptures down to eye level so visitors can see their details up close. The exhibition brings together the original marble sculptures, along with plaster casts of pieces now held at the British Museum and other museums abroad. The reconstructed Acropolis once crowned the roof of the Parthenon. It stands over 3 meters tall, with acanthus leaves blending into palm motifs. The Ionic frieze is displayed as it was in the temple, though at a lower height so it can be seen more clearly. It consisted of 115 blocks, stretching across roughly 160 meters. Its reliefs depict the procession of the Great Panathenæa, carved in low relief with remarkable attention to detail, subtle modeling, and a refined sense of depth. The pediments of the Parthenon stood at the two ends of the temple, filling the triangular spaces beneath the roof with monumental sculptures. Their compositions were carefully adapted to the triangular shape, with large figures arranged from the center down toward the corners. One showed the birth of Athena. The other depicted her contest with Poseidon for control of Attica. Together they convey both balance and drama. The figures are modeled with striking naturalism, from the anatomy of the bodies to the movement of the drapery. Could you distinguish an archaic sculpture from a classical one? If we observe the full figures, the main difference lies in how the body is conceived. In the Archaic period, hieraticizm predominates. The figure is frontal, stable, and symmetrical. It seems placed in space, rather than truly standing within it. The body follows a clear and balanced scheme, conveying a sense of rigidity and an absence of real movement. In the classical period, by contrast, the body is organized in a more organic way. The weight is distributed naturally, creating subtle shifts in the hips and shoulders. A dynamic line runs through the figure, breaking strict symmetry. The sculpture no longer appears fixed, but begins to feel alive, as if it were truly standing. The archaic imposes stability. The classical suggests movement. In the face, the contrast is equally evident. Archaic sculpture presents more geometric and conventional features. The eyes are almond-shaped, the structure is frontal, and the so-called archaic smile appears. It does not express individual emotion, but rather functions as a formal convention. In classical sculpture, the features are modeled with greater subtlety. The transitions are softer, the face loses its rigidity, and the expression becomes more natural and restrained. The chronological journey continues on the first floor, where we encounter the famous Caryatids. These female figures once formed part of the south porch of the Erechtheion, carved in marble in the late 5th century before Christ. They replaced traditional columns, transforming architecture into human presence. The figures currently standing on the Erechtheion are replicas. 5 of the originals are preserved here. The 6th is now in the British Museum. Their bodies sustain the structure of the building. Yet their serene posture and the delicate movement of their drapery reveal something more. There is a balance in the way they stand that goes beyond mere construction. For a broader exploration of the Erechtheion, the Acropolis and other historic landmarks of Athens, you can explore our previous video. Near the Caryatids is the section dedicated to the Temple of Athena Nike, where parts of its frieze and reliefs from the parapet are displayed. In this portion of the frieze, we see a mythological scene, an assembly of gods, possibly connected to the birth of Athena. The parapet reliefs depict the goddess in different attitudes. celebrating victory and reinforcing the commemorative spirit of the temple. Next to the Athena Nike section, the exhibition traces the history of the Acropolis from the 5th century BC to the end of antiquity. What we have presented here represents only part of the museum's narrative. Some areas extend beyond the scope of this video, and certain spaces cannot be filmed, preserving the experience for those who encounter it in person. And this is where we conclude today's visit. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to follow our upcoming explorations. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.